teams through the war games.
I want you ready. Now.
Happy New Year, everybody. It is IGN's Xbox team, Ryan McCaffrey, joined by, as always, the one and only Mitch Dyer.
That's me.
And it's a new year, but it's the same Halo. Halo 4, it's back. We're not done with it yet, not by a long shot.
Lots to go.
Including, we're kicking off, Spartan Ops is back, the second half of Season 1. Now, Mitch, I have a theory that there's not going to be a Season 2, but we'll get to that down the road.
All right.
But now, let's just recap real quick.
Okay. For
those that either didn't hear our first 5 weeks' worth of commentaries or maybe have just forgotten what's going on over the holidays. It's been a while. Let's catch up. So, Spartan Ops, downloadable, weekly, episodic, co-op content for Halo.
I follow. I'm on the same page.
Adjective.
Yeah.
But it's, the idea is that it's less about firefight scenarios and scoring and more about a narrative focus. So we've had these gorgeous CG cutscenes that precede each downloadable episode every week. And that we've been tracking a Spartan fire team and Dr. Halsey and this weird artifact aboard the UNSC Infinity. And now we get to episode 6, and we have one of those Spartans is captured.
Spartan Thorn.
Yeah, Thorn's captured. We have one of the scientists made the mistake of touching the artifact. Don't touch it.
That was his bad.
Had the velvet rope around it and everything. He touched it. He got sucked in. We thought at first that it might have been like the a librarian situation where he was assimilated into a digital human form, but no, he just got teleported down to Requiem.
Same thing with Thorn. He got sucked in the same way.
So they're down there, and they're captured by the Covenant, who are also trying to unlock the mysteries of this thing.
We have named Covenant now. We have Julam Dama, which is a fancy and fun name to spell.
So anyway, we're here now, and the second half is kicking off. We kind of got to a place by the end of the first half of Season 1 that we weren't too happy about being in from a gameplay perspective. We saw the same levels, the same play spaces over and over, some of them 4 or 5 times.
But this time you're running through it backward.
Yeah.
It's fresh and new.
So it was some campaign spaces, some multiplayer maps, and a few original spaces as well. So you got to go up to 343 last week and get a preview of a little bit of each episode.
Most episodes.
Yeah. Including 1 or 2 of the chapters from this week, episode 6. And I was very surprised because you were, I was just trying to hang on to some optimism. You had pretty much run out by week 5. You were like, I am done with this.
Yep.
I've had enough. And I was still kind of hanging in, if for no other reason than the story. But even, I was pretty bored with the gameplays. But you came back from your trip to 343 really high on it, like legitimately, genuinely enthusiastic about what they showed you, about what's in store for these next 5 weeks, for the second half of Spartan Ops. And so, now that it's here, we're going to have our commentaries again every week. Tune into IGN each week for the next 5 weeks, and we'll keep track of this stuff. Watch it on your lunch hour, and then you go play when you get home. That's what we do. Except we actually play on our lunch hour because we
don't have time.
We
for
can
the
get
rest
away
of
with
that.
it. But anyway, so this week Halsey is still she's handcuffed to a chair, and she's lamenting how there's so much knowledge out there, and she's just sort of stuck in the little human space and unable to. She's surrounded by basically small thinking humans. That's her beef with it. And Thorn, of course, gets out down on Requiem.
Makes pretty badass escape.
Yeah, and we get started. So as far as the missions themselves, already off to a good start because every single one of these spaces was not seen in the first half.
These are all new
of the season, but they're not entirely unfamiliar.
Sure. I mean, we halfway through the series, or I guess how we categorize these episodes, chapters.
Episodes.
Halfway through the episode, we see Vortex, which was a multiplayer map.
Yes.
I haven't actually played that map that many times. It just doesn't come up in matchmaking for me very often.
Yeah, it doesn't get voted through much.
Yeah, so it was kind of nice to play a campaign mission in this space, and it helped me see this map in a totally new way. Plus, it expanded halfway through into like a totally new area that we hadn't seen before.
Yes.
It was so nice to be able to see that, and if they're going to keep doing this, where they keep introducing familiar spaces, it's going to be cool to see how they broaden how they extend that experience that we already know.
So we started off in a brand new space, a Forerunner space that it almost was a little bit wizardy from Halo 1. Like just a little bit. I mean, I guess you could say any round arena-like level with a sort of raised central area could be kind of wizardy. And I'm sure there was something before Wizard that was exactly like that too.
Not the most original design, but it works.
But in Halo context, it's a little wizardy. And I thought it worked pretty well. We sort of moved from room to room. Before
big rooms, like much bigger than the past one. I mean, Ragnarok was kind of the exception in the first half of the season, but other than that, we spent a lot of time in confined spaces with like a lot of 90-degree angles and walls. This is huge.
And by the end of it, it was a ridiculous defense of a particular human at a computer station, where we noted it. But I think you died 31 times.
It was a lot.
I died 32.
It was many.
And of course, we're playing on Legendary. Every single time we've played on Legendary.
And just the two of us every time.
Yeah. So what we took away was we really were wishing we had 4 people this go around
for the first time. I mean, normally we've been able to handle it pretty okay by ourselves. We would die a lot, but we could handle it. Like I'd get in a tank or a Warthog or whatever, and you would support me, and we'd have 2 different angles covered. We'd be all right. Now we are just getting destroyed. Elites are just they're embarrassing us.
I'm blaming it on the rust because I took a little break from
Halo
been like over the holidays.
It's been a while.
That's my excuse, but no real vehicles in this one. A couple of ghosts, which didn't last long for either one of us at all.
They would get plasma. They'd get taken down. The shade turrets made a mess of us. It was bad.
But anyway, so that got things off to a nice start, and then we moved to Chapter 2, which was familiar, but this was it was a campaign space. It was from which
you're blanking.
I'm blanking on which level of the campaign it was now, and of course I didn't write it down, but it was.
Yeah, I can't remember the exact context of the space either. The nightimey Promethean is a Promethean structure that the UNSC's kind of co-opted, right?
Yes.
Let's just go with that.
We're rolling with it.
Yep.
But yeah, it's that mission where you start off and there's a couple of ghosts coming at you. It's big, long, straight ahead, and you're going to a grav lift inside, and there's a shade turret.
It's where the composer kind of reveals its power.
Yes, there's shade turret off to the left, shade turret off to the right. So it made for a very cool Spartan Ops space, I thought.
Yeah, for the most part in the campaign, you spent most of that mission in a Mantis, shooting down like tons and tons of Banshees incoming, so you didn't really get to explore it on foot very much. And now we get to, the running theme in this is that it's familiar spaces that are broadened, and we get to see a lot more of it, and it goes into much more intricate structures and hallways and stairways and lots of like big landings with lots of enemies and lots of cover.
The end of this one, though, on 2-player Legendary was not fair.
Right. I mean, it's for most of the mission, it was like this fun destroy stuff, take out big groups. You find a lot of fuel rod guns, but at the end, you end up stuck in this spawn closet where you and I just kept respawning in the exact same spot behind UNSC storage. And if we did not have the rocket launchers and the shotguns basically on infinite supply.
They were infinite, and it was still horrible.
Right. It was just this weird thing where it kept spawning us in a terrible place where a Banshee would get us and a Phantom would get us.
Phantoms overhead.
Hunters were waiting outside with their fuel rods, beam things. It was too much in a small space, and we couldn't escape. If we had 4, maybe somebody could run, interference.
Yeah, I tried to just make a run for it to get to anywhere else. Yeah. And I just got shot down halfway through.
I mean, that was a cool spot, though. I really liked that mission, which was... It was a lot of combat. It was almost non-stop the entire time. And then you had to destroy those 3 points, which I kind of like doing, take a little break from killing guys and go for various objects to destroy. And now you just have this endless wave of dudes, and you have big guns. Like, that big stock at the end really made me feel like a badass.
Yeah.
Except for where, it shamed us into respawning a thousand times.
Chapter 3 was what I thought was one of the 2 highlights, one of the 2 biggest highlights.
Yeah.
It was a new space, sort of rocky outdoor Requiem space, a little kind of ripped stream down on the ground, and you start off and you're infiltrating, and there's a whole just field that you're approaching from behind of sleeping grunts.
First time we've seen stealth in Spartan Ops, or Halo 4 for that matter, really.
So what happened? How did we do this?
So
'Cause there are two ways to do it.
Yeah.
We went what I thought was probably the more fun way.
Yeah, I mean, we could have just opened fire on the camp and everyone would have woken up and we could have taken them down, but we got a hot tip at 343 from Spartan Ops designer David Ellis, who said, hey, why don't you try sneaking around the side? Why don't you, get all the assassinations, assassinate all these grunts, sneak around the side, and activate that little computer terminal. And if you activate that computer terminal, it just unleashes an airstrike on the entire camp, and you just obliterate the entire force, and, you just breeze right through it.
After knifing in the back a bunch of poor helpless grunts who were sleeping on the job.
It was nice. It's cool that there's it's not a huge range of options, but it's cool that now we are seeing something like you can play it like Halo, or you can play it a different way and get this kind of reward.
And then chapter 4 rather you mentioned was Vortex.
That mission actually stands out as like the least remarkable to me. Just the events in it don't stand out as stark as the rest.
Not quite. I mean, the takeaway from that for me was so there were 2 Wraith tanks in the back that we had to get to, which we actually did an awesome.
Yeah.
We had an awesome strategy. Was I jacked one of the 2 ghosts that it was floating around, managed to get my hands on that, and then sort of just drew the Wraith fire from way far away, where I could definitely dodge, no problem. And then I just watched you go up and then whoop, hop on the back and grenade
punch it.
Yeah, it was
I didn't
great.
have any grenades too. I didn't think about it ahead of time, so I didn't have any. I was just punching the snot out of it.
But it worked out. It's such a big level.
Yeah.
That it proved to be a good spot. And then finally, in the return of Spartan Ops in episode 6 here, was another new Requiem space with a Covenant Harvester, which is it's like the scarab of the scarab.
Scarabs go inside this thing.
Exactly. It is a gigantic purple spider-looking thing. And I'm trying to think. I know I'm going to get corrected harshly in the comments on this, but if I remember correctly, these were in Halo Wars as units, but I know for sure we definitely haven't seen them in the shooters, in the Halo shooters. But I think they did make an appearance in Halo Wars, and we get to go inside it and disable it.
This may be a dumb question. Did those things ever come up in Contact Harvest? Was that a Halo book?
Well, it was.
Okay, did they come up in there? I never read it.
No.
Okay. Well, those are the connections I make.
Mitch Dyer, ladies and gentlemen. But it was a fun map because this was Promethean hell. I mean the knights on Legendary are so difficult to bring down. They require so much ammunition. We died so many times.
Yeah, especially toward the end. I mean, on the way in, when you're recovering the IFF tags, you're trying to find the missing team of Spartans, you're finding basically their stashes that they left behind. So I picked up a saw every time I found one. I got new ammo for the saw. And the saw was great. I was tearing up the knights left and right. But as soon as we tried to exit that harvester, and I did not have any more weapons except the stupid carbine anymore, like, we were done. We couldn't kill one knight to save our lives.
Yeah, we could have really used a couple of banshees or something. There was actually
players.
There was a banshee in I think it was
6-3?
2 or 3.
Yeah.
In one of the chapters, you just buzzed by me in a banshee, and it was awesome.
Which is cool, right? Now, like, that's what makes it really feel like a Halo 4 campaign as opposed to a stupid Spartan Ops arena thing. Like, now it's a big space. It's got that Halo 4 sandbox feel where there are vehicles and you don't have to take them, but you can, and it's just as fun to do it or to go on foot or do whatever you want to do. Like, that's Halo to me. It's cool to finally see that essence in Spartan Ops.
Yeah. So I gotta say, this is episode 6 here has definitely renewed my enthusiasm for Spartan Ops. I had a really good time playing it. Now looking forward to next week and episode 7
for the first time.
However, I am still, I think this is fair.
Okay.
I am skeptical. I'm basically bracing for more than one of these chapters to be, or one of these play spaces to be repeated next week.
Oh, you can expect it.
Yeah,
I think you can,
and it's going to disappoint me.
Throughout the next 4, however many episodes are left, I think
4.
you can expect to see many of these return, and probably a lot of the stuff from the first half of the season, right?
Oh, I hope not.
Can't wait to go back to that place that I can't remember the name of because I don't care anymore.
So, well, in the meantime, I'm happy this week. This is definitely the happiest I've been since week 1.
Yeah.
Probably happier, in fact, because I think these were just better spaces, better levels.
Yeah.
Better areas
Totally agree.
for this.
Bigger,
And
lots more to them.
with the added benefit of we're already invested in the story, whereas in episode 1, we were just getting to know all these characters. The story was just getting started. So that is our renewed vigor for Spartan Ops. Tune back next week to see if it holds. For Mitch Dyer, I'm Ryan McCaffrey. For all things Halo 4, you're already in the right place. It's IGN.